Okay.
What's the reason for that? And so I really want to do this story, one, because I want to show how inventive we were, how our family and our parents, made sure that we had what everybody else had, in spite of the fact that they didn't want to share theirs. That they knew what to do and how to do it, and the success of that. I want to share it because it shows, protection. It shows family. It shows support. It shows love. I want to share it because within my own life, I didn't know white people for the most part that I can recall until I really moved to Urbana and went to school over there, and it became more, more relevant. And that I want to share it because it shows how you become who you are within the construct of those who have the responsibility for you and for the raising of you. I can remember when my aunt said that I was just like my mother, and that just I went, huh, I thought, oh, that can't be, because I never want to be like my mother, because my mother was one who always told a story. I mean, whenever you would ask me a question, I'm going to go in this story. I'll get there, but it's going to take me a moment to get there. And my mother was like, and it just drove me nuts because I just wanted her to just tell me, And when my aunt said that, I said, oh no. I said, I've ended up just like her. And I can't do anything about it. I said, they just have to live with it. I said, that's all I can say. But, it was just one of those things that really took me back. And I stopped. I didn't even stop talking on what it was. And I thought, okay, so because we don't know any other way of being and doing, even though we say, I don't ever want to be like them. I know I'm going to be different and blah, blah, blah. We end up with carrying a lot of that because we don't know any other way of doing or being. That was it. Whether we liked it or not, that was it. And as a result of all of that, not only her, but all the influences that I had, I am who I am. And so I can't do it any other way. And I want us to remember that as we're going out and about, and to be confident and sure and proud of that. It may not work for everybody, but there it is.
And
And
why is that an important message, Debbie? Why is that important for us to know? It reminds me earlier of what we were talking about, the importance of remembering to remember.
yes,
That's
that's
what I'm hearing is you're
and
saying.
that's why.
But
That's why we
say a little bit more about that. Why is that important for us?
well, it helps to give you, I think, in many ways, confidence, whether that's a positive or negative. It's like, I didn't just draw this out of the air somewhere. This really has come from development and come from a place that I've never thought of, except that I've just been in it. To say that this is who I am. My family always were involved in the community, always. And that was extended family, as well as blood family, as well as friends and neighbors, always. Protection was always part of it. And that's why, and I picked that up too. I didn't like those little old ladies that sat on the porch, but they were there for a reason, and they were there to make sure that nothing happened to us as we went about our way. And if we did something wrong, my parents knew before I got home. I didn't like that either, but I now appreciate it. I appreciate it because it has given me actually an application of what community is all about and what that really means when you take responsibility for it. The women who sat on that porch each day, they weren't they were neighbors. They weren't blood relatives or relatives of mine. They knew my family. They knew my parents. They knew my aunts and uncles. And for that reason, then I became a part of theirs for that very reason. And I can remember, in going for jobs or in going for places, in using my father's name or using my uncle's name or whatever, because when you do that, it gives a connection. It gives a connection from the person whom you're being introduced to their being able to say in some ways, aha, I kind of know who this person is because I know their family. And that can go both plus and minus. But that help, that's another way that we traverse this world, and so I remember those things, and I remember them, with fondness, and with love, and with security, and with knowing, because I did the same thing, with my nephews. I did the same thing with my cousins who are much younger than me. Well, who is this person? And who is their family, and where did they come from? And I was asking the same questions that my parents and my aunts and uncles asked. I didn't like, but they did. And so it's all of that. It's all of the connection. And so we are really as close as we can be. That 30 degrees or 60 degrees, which they talk about. We just are, and always in a connection of some sort. And I want people to honor that. I want people to use that and not say, oh, that was just, that's what they did or whatever. But no, keep it going, and use it and make it a part of who you are and what it is that you want to be. Does that make sense?
Oh my gosh. You know what it is, Debbie, is it's Ubuntu. It's a South
Uh-huh.
African, it's the I am because you
Absolutely.
are.
That was why that captured me so much. And I talk about it all the time because I know what he was talking about. I knew it because I've lived it.
That's exactly it.
Mhm,
And so you started off by saying I am, and
mhm.
like remembering and hearing and knowing your mother's in you, even though you don't want her to be in you, that storyteller. And then it's like, and also that connectedness to the rest of your
Yes,
community. And so I think what I hear in your story is it's the learning the myth of this piece that we're isolated in individuals, and learning
mhm.
the truth that we actually belong to each other and we're part
That's right. We
connect.
are.
Yeah.
We're apart. And what is so fascinating for me now, in my older years here, is that what they did for us, what my uncles did for us, has become what they have done for the community. So it wasn't, so even though their focus may have been in on us, their children, it actually grew to include the community. And that was the beauty of what they did in that day, in creating that community center for us, because we had nowhere else to go. And they wanted us to have what others have had, yet it blossomed into a community. and a value to the entire community and not just us.
Mhm.
That was the other part of it that was so important.
Mhm. Yeah, and you were speaking to this earlier as we were talking about the importance of starting small, that we think that the small
Mhm.
things, the
Mhm.
local things, maybe we can see them as like, as compared to the large systemic kind of efforts is like maybe not enough. But
Right,
and you were speaking to the impact of starting there, starting small,
right.
starting
Starting
local. And that's,
small.
yeah.
And I've always done that wherever I've been. I tried to get the Department of Health to do that in maternal and child health. You always just want to do big and give all. No, carve out a small piece and start there. Be successful there and move to the next piece. And when you do, then you really are going to create the community that we sit here and envision. But if you don't and you think I have to do the whole world at once, then you are in defeat and you will fail. And it will, and in failing, we stay where we are stuck and we don't move to where we know that we need to be.
Yeah. It's interesting because as you were talking, what was coming up for me is starting small and starting right here. It's because of our relationship. And I think it's
Yes.
because you can see how you're connected. So I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this because I'm in right relationship with you, because you are
Mhm.
part of me and I see that there's a need in you and your need is my need. It's
That's
your
right.
uncle's understanding that.
Yes.
It's a very different kind of energy than what can feel like that white saviorism too, of like, I'm going to go help those people over there.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this idea of starting small in the relationships that we are in right now, each of us.
Yes.
And that's what I hear you speaking to.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that that's really what's going to, draw us to each other and, becoming the one, out of many, one. And that is where we need to be thinking. Because at the end of the day, that's really what God wants is out of many, one. Yeah. Well, it's been wonderful.